Yeah. Right, yo, gents. Right. Great to see the both of you, gents. Yeah. What?
Likewise, good to see you as well, man.
You as well. But yeah,
I was telling my friends that I was going to see you two, and it was like, oh, I was like, they've ref me a couple of times. They're really cool dudes as it goes. Because I've met a few refs, and a few refs are a bit like, all right, boys, you're doing the coolest job ever. You're involved in the fight game, but you're not fighting.
that's it.
No, them days have gone past me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about Sam. Sam might have a fight left in him if it was down to a bit of food.
Mate, I'll have to can't wait to get that.
I've seen a couple of little videos about you, Dan, and like what got you into the reffing game, boys? Like from fighting, like I don't know nothing about that side of the game, really.
I'll let Sam go first. Go on, Sam.
All right. So Dan's story is probably a lot more interesting than mine.
Oh, don't give it all that.
To be honest with you, I actually got into it from going to watch Dan fight. To be honest with you, so when I is, his mum will say she's like my surrogate mother. So yeah, I went and watched Dan fight, and my wife's cousin's husband sadly passed away. God rest his soul. His brother used to own a gym called Bandog. So obviously through him as well, I decided I wanted to just go and train and try and see what it's like. I used to do a lot of weightlifting back in those. I was bulking up, but I wasn't really active. I used to play quite a bit of football as well. So I decided to go and do about the MMA class and see what it's like. And my first session, I got a black eye. Man, I love this. Like, the buzz, the adrenaline, it was just all kind of, for me, I was like, yeah, this is kind of me. So I had a little bit of a stint in the amateur scene for a bit. Done a bit of I think one boxing fight, had a few amateur MMA fights. And then from there, like for me, the training, I just didn't have the time. I used to work quite hard. I had a young family. I just didn't really have the time to be able to train for a camp, if that makes sense. Fair play to these guys all doing it.
It's a loner lifestyle. To be a fighter,
it's a lot.
Live on your own. You ain't got no kids. That's it, really. That's the best.
And it is, and fair play to all these guys that can do it. For me, I had to be honest with myself. I couldn't. That's the reality. And I probably wasn't good enough anyways to waste my time to try to go pro. So I might as well.
I think the thing is with fighting, it makes you be honest with yourself and life. Yeah. And if you're not honest, it's going to get an hiding, and sooner or later.
And you know that, Chris, as well as anyone, with having not only been a fighter yourself, still active, but also training guys, and girls. And sometimes you have to, you as a coach have to sometimes take that step of like, look, come on, you're not good enough, or you're not training hard enough, and some people just don't want to hear it. And like Sam said, there was a point where in my head, same thing. If anyone don't know, I had 8 losses in a row before I got my first win. My mum telling me, look, come on, Dan, give it up, don't worry about it. But it was always something that was more of a hobby for me than it was a profession, so to speak. And but yeah, that's, and then from that, then kind of fell into the refereeing side of stuff. I was lucky enough to have people like Leon Roberts, Grant Waterman to look up to. And on that, around the same time, like Sam said, we're good family friends, and he got into training at Band Dogs, and then, yes, I know he'd done a couple of fight nights there. So it all kind of tied in. But you're right, as in, you sometimes do have to take a look at yourself. And with me, same thing, had family. It was like, look, I can't do this. I can't juggle this. Barely make it training twice a week, 3 times a week,
Yeah, man, and that's why I love it, because it's made me be honest. When I was younger, I was a bit of a dipstick, as everyone is, and you get into the fight game, and you're like, right, I've got to be honest with myself here, otherwise I'm going to find out what the truth is very painfully. So take it into the rest of your life almost. But man, like, I know whenever I see you two repping, one of you two refed me last, I don't know. But I know when you two about. I know. I didn't poke no one in the eye either, did I? I kept my hands like that, mate. I keep my hands like that. I was like, I ain't gonna poke no one in the eye. But no, that was fun, that last punch up. That was really, really fun. So yeah, it's people who love the game that understand it's I said that wrong. Like people who are on the outside of the game, the only thing they are interested in is wins and losses.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. And after that, the conversation's dead, isn't it? It's dead. To somebody who don't know fighting.
That's something. There's more to it, But from my perspective, there was no point in me wasting my time because all I'm going to do is cheat myself, cheat my opponent. I'm not, if my
You got to
head
do it fully, yeah.
All camp.
And
what am I doing? Jumping in to say, yeah, I'm an MMA. No, if you're going to do it. Like train properly,
Yeah, you boys must see some boys who are unfit.
No, but and also just quickly, but to be fair, the time where Sam and myself were fighting, there wasn't a really amateur scene like there is today. There was no path of progression of being able to look. Some people's goals right now is just to be purely an amateur MMA champion. They don't want to go pro. They want to just be an amateur champion, which is fine, Whereas back when I started, it was like it's either pro or nothing,
Yeah.
or So and the options weren't really there, So, yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, it was the Wild West, bro. It's the Wild West, and because I said,
sometimes it still is,
like, you are lucky. Like, see all the people fighting there, they're lucky because they've got a lot of options, and they've got like people like yourselves actually look. Because back in the day, the refs and the judges, no one really knew what was going on. Everyone just wanted to fight. Everyone just wanted to fight, and now it's getting so proper, like I've been saying this for a while, like the levels of MMA. Wow. It's got amazing. It's got amazing. Actually, I want to ask you two this. For me, actually, I ain't going to influence your answer. Most underutilized strike in MMA. I know what a weapon. I know what I think.
I think in the clinch, elbows. Like tying up and throwing them elbows in the clinch. That's me personally.
What's that? Are we talking about pro or amateur now? Because there's a difference here.
Come on, bruv. We're all big men here. We're talking pro shit. Let me show you how adult this conversation is. We're talking pro shit. Yeah. I agree with you. Elbows and I think knees.
Yeah, I was gonna say
knees, man. People like like I feel that people don't threaten the knee enough. Like even if you're not gonna throw it, because like anyone in my gym who I spar with MMA wise, as soon as we start sparring, the first thing I do, twitch that knee. If you want to double me, there's something there you might run onto, and even if I'm not. It's a very
I hear what you're saying, and bearing in mind, if anyone doesn't know, you're obviously from a very strong Thai boxing background. You're from a stand-up background, but I can see why people are a bit vulnerable to throw that knee because, i.e., if someone catches that knee and takes you down, etc. So sometimes you might see people throwing those knees if they're confident in their ground game. So if they do get taken down, they can attack the submission, work their way up, etc. But yeah, you coming from a Thai boxing background, I can see why you.
Every time I watch
Sam knows better than anybody, man. In your last fight, how many good knees you throw? So he knows better. Saw it up close and personal.
That's the main thing I see a lot of in MMA. Like the elbows and the knees, they're a bit underutilized. And the other thing I think is I see a lot of people just go max power with their elbows and knees. And especially when they've got the clinch and they're going to throw a knee, there's that bounce they do before they throw the knee. And it's like, that's the second you gave away. You could have just thrown. Yeah, but I know some of my boys do that a lot. And then throw the knee. And by then, mate, he's gone. Mate, he's gone. You know what's going to happen. You're going to need me, bro. So they try and do it as hard as possible. And I see that with elbows. I see that with elbows an awful lot as well. That people don't. They go, and okay, you might get him, but more often than not, mate, he goes.
Blocks it out. More choreographed. That's what it feels like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they need to flow a bit more. But obviously, as a stand-up guy, I'm always going to say, like, there needs to be more flow. People are constantly like, obviously, yeah, you want to go for the kill, but you've got to flow with it. Because if you don't, you try and gather that big shot, you try and gather that big elbow, and mate, you fucked off.
Yeah, but it's like it's in the same concept of if someone's going for an armbar, for example, if they're yanking on that arm and giving it away, they're going for that arm, then of course the mate is going to pull the arm out and defend, and I mean it's coming. But if you're setting up inch by inch and you whack it on, you know, without giving that body position away, then same thing, element of surprise, so to speak.
I still feel in the grappling, it's amazing. I'm such a noob to that. Shout out to Neto. But
yeah, what a great guy he is.
Oh mate, he absolutely pretzels me, like when we was open, obviously. Pretzels me. He's so cool. He's such a cool little dude.
Did he teach it? Sorry, he teaches at your gym as well, then, yeah?
Yeah, for a couple of years now. A couple of years he's been teaching granite. Yeah, man. Like he's really put a love of the game into me because, like, you know me, I was always stand up, K1, boxing, Muay Thai. I'll have it. And then, like at my old gym, it was interesting, but there's sparring going on over there. So, do you know what I mean? And I'd always, and yeah, when I opened my own gym, obviously I was like, well, I've got to get involved a bit more rather than just sparring. That's what I used to do over at that gym, just jump in the MMA grappling and just spar. I'd catch people in subbies, and I know it's not right. So, like, I'd be sitting there, and I've got them, and I'd be looking around the gym trying to see someone I know, and I'd be like, get the tight, and I'm like, because I never drilled. I never used to drill. Never. I'll just jump in every now and then. You know what I mean? And now, yeah, man, that stuff's interesting. But
and Neto's big on that. Neto's big on drilling as well. That's the thing. Yeah. He's good. He's big on drilling.
Really, really, really got the love for me, like for that side of the game. I always find it super interesting, and I recognise the levels. But you know, always a striker. But it's really fun. I really enjoy it, and like, well, as a gym owner, actually, I'm sure you two will say this kind of thing to people who have never done it, anything, and they want to talk about self-defense and things like that. I'm like, do jiu-jitsu. Especially women. Every woman I know, I tell them do that stuff, man. I was like, I do Thai boxing all my life, and this is better for you in a real world situation. It just is. It just is.
And also the element of not getting hit in the head, you know, is appealing as well. You know, unless you're rolling with Sam.
You want them hard, putting your head in and that. You want them hard rolling.
Dad's one of them like standing like a punching bag, mate, when he used to fight.
I ain't rolling with you ever. Yeah, sod that. You can come and roll with Neto. I ain't doing all that shit. I just wander around or something. But like, I'll tell you what I was thinking about as well, boys, to ask is greatest fight you've ever been part of. Oh
man, that's a tough one. You know, it is tough, but I'm probably gonna go, and this is I'm gonna go one that I can probably recognise pretty well. I'm gonna go Jay Shepherd's last fight at.
Shout out to Jay.
That was a full-on fight, and fair play to his opponent. It was constantly, he was there. As you know, but again, you know, there's a number of great fights I've refed. You know, that's going to be up there. You know, whether it'll be the top, you know, it's hard for me to kind of.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
There's another female fight on Contenders as well, between two Polish ladies. Again,
she just signed to the UFC, right? If I remember, Sam. Contenders announced that. I'm pretty sure they put something out there. But anyway, go on. Yeah.
They're both probably UFC potential, to be honest with you. It's only a matter of time, but it was such a great fight. Like, you know, just they just cancelled it so well, but they were both so full on trying to win the fight as well. Great fight.
It must be so hard sometimes as a ref to not start watching the fight.
Oh, 100%. You can't. You just, or you're watching it, but you're watching it for.
Yeah. You're watching it and me watching it. Two completely different things, mate. Yeah, man.
But there's been times where Sam's refereed and we've obviously been at the same event, and then he's like, I'm like, man, that was such a good fight, and he'll come out and he'll go, yeah, but I was refereeing it, and he'll go back and watch the fight again. He's like, fuck, you know, that was a good fight. You know? Because obviously, as a referee, you're looking at it totally different. You're not looking at it as a fan. You're not looking at it as a, you're looking for obviously the safety, when to jump in, etc. So you do sometimes go look back at those fights and you go, shit, that was actually a really good fight, you know. There's been plenty of memorable ones. I couldn't name your names. I mean, there's been a couple on Fight Star Championships, like Sam said, on Contenders as well, and plenty of bloody ones. And all right, Sam, including your one, Chris.
I love blood. I love blood.
That was bloody.
Yeah, man. Well, I've had a little minute opening my gym to really sit back and what you boys have both refed me. In a word, the way I describe I used to fight, effort. I'd put in a lot of effort, and I've matured and got better as a fighter, and I recognise that is just so not it. But that's what I was trying to do: put in as much effort as possible. And obviously, of course, you've got to put effort in. But there's got to be feints, misdirection, setups, timing. Yeah, I mean, all that kind of stuff you've got to be thinking about, like feinting. Like, I know obviously you're normally reffing, but when you watch a fight, I don't know if you've noticed this. Even at a high level, people ain't always feinting. You know what I mean? People like really like from a striker mindset. There's only really two ways you can interact. I can attack you and you react off of that attack, or you can attack me and I can react off of that attack. That's pretty much it, and that's all I see. You know what I mean? Like that's all I see. Like go back to my last fight. I wrote my shin off kicking him in the head because I knew that was going to land. I knew it was going to land. I've set it up. I've kicked you twice now. I've looked at the floor and I've kicked high. That's definitely going to hit you. I love that low kick high. It works really well. But like, I knew that was going to work out, so I could go for it. And I see that it's if you don't like, you watch people fighting, and it's normally almost like one dude will inspire the other one. You know what I mean? Like if they're not fighting, one will feint, and the other one will be like, "Oh yeah, feints."
Yeah, well, sometimes some fighters do get drawn into that slug and tear kind of fight, or the dude gets, oh, he's throwing a kick, oh, I'll throw a kick, oh, he's throwing a left hook, I'll throw a left hook. Some people but then again, that comes with experience, doesn't it? And we as referees, we see it as referees, we see it in the fighters sometimes. Like you kind of half guess and go, yeah, he's just throwing a kick, or he's gone for a takedown. Yeah, guess what? He's going to try to go for a takedown. So it is kind of like a mirror image.
Yeah,
but they get drawn into that. It's inexperience sometimes.
Yeah, man. Because when I first had that last punch up, I was almost embarrassed thinking that I hadn't for all my previous fights because I hadn't been thinking. I was just putting in effort as much as possible. I thought that's what fighting was. Get in there, put as much effort as possible, and crack on, innit?
That's the best I've seen you in your last fight. It was.
I felt like a whole new human, bro. Whole new human.
Half opponent.
He was game. He was. I said I wanted someone who was really, really up for it. I ain't up for no pansy about. I want to have a tear up. But I noticed he wasn't fainting. He as a lot of people don't. They don't faint, and that's huge. Because I thought one of my other boys fought that night, as it goes. No, was it? Yeah, it was that night. And I've been introducing feints to him. And the thing is, when people start using feints, they feint someone and then they marvel that it works, and then they get hit. I've been calling it robbing the store and waiting for the police. You rob the shop and you wait for the feds. And like you say, it comes with work. It comes with work, man. I had a few more fights booked up, so I was really excited to get going, man. Really, really.
Well, hopefully, I think with the word is on the street that some shows are looking to come back September, October time. So maybe you can get yourself on it. Was that your first fight since you started your own gym, Chris?
Yeah, that was my first fight. Yeah, since opening my own place. Yeah, man. I had the anniversary of my gym the 1st of April, 3 years.
Oh,
congratulations, man.
Yeah, man. I just like you, I got into this because it looked fun.
Yeah. And And whatever, you know, that's the best way about it. You know, everyone thinks you're making shitloads of money, you're doing lots of stuff. Yeah, it may look that way, and you know, like even with yourself, getting to travel with some of the fighters now, whether it be abroad or whether it be in the UK, just the fact you travel, the family aspect of it, you know, being with your fighters, being the cornerman, or you know, your cornerman cornering you, it's a good bond. And you know, Sam will tell you more than anyone. When we go away, we love you know, traveling with the team. Try to see
I love
some of
watching
the
your
fighters,
adventures.
etc. It's good.
I love watching your adventures on Facebook.
No,
Boy.
only because he's eating.
You do like a bit of grub.
You know, the other half is him, yeah? I'm just saying.
Actually, I've got to shout out. My mate has got a wicked burger place that he's just opened
We know.
by me. So eventually, I'll get you down here. You can have a grapple, strangle me for a bit, and then come to my mates. Was it Chuck and Blade Burgers?
That's it.
Yeah,
give them a shout out.
that's the plan. Like, I've been watching. Do you watch like other promotions? Obviously, like I've been watching a lot of One, and
Yeah.
the thing I've been noticing on One, their takedown attempts are lightning. Everyone's. Oh, Sam, I beg you move your head over just a little bit to the right, please. Thank you, brother. No, it's just that my face is on it, and I don't want that. I was noticing on One that their takedown attempts are so quick. And I was like, why is that? And
Hated more for a lower weight division, right? I mean, if you look at their kind of weight,
I thought that
lower weight divisions. I mean, they do obviously. You have your heavyweights, your light heavyweights, and middleweights, but you know, predominantly their main divisions are those kind of bantamweights.
Bantamweights. The main reason I thought it could have been that they're partial to a knee to the nut, aren't they? When you're down there. Boys don't hang about down there when that takedown gets stuffed. It's like staying here, mate. Like you cannot do that. And that, I do think, like, because there's different sets of rules all over the place, it's getting close to we've almost got MMA right. I feel, don't you, boys? Like we're still in the beginnings. It's only a few years old, isn't it? Like 20 odd years old.
25.
MMA young sport.
25, 26.
Go on, Dan, I can't hear.
Sorry, say that again,
go
man.
on.
I was gonna say when you look at compared to like other combat sports, like the history of boxing, we're still young, and you know over years you've seen boxing how the rules and the rounds have adapted. For instance, in boxing, you know they used to fight how many rounds years ago? You know, over 15 rounds. So, and now obviously 12 rounds is the normal of a heavyweight title fight. But the rules have been adapted pretty well. You know, I think we're there or thereabouts on the rules. You know, there's always going to be.
You are now the dictator of MMA. What rules would you change, if any?
A downward elbow, 12 to 6 elbow. That's
Well,
I think that's the only rule really that should and could be changed. You know, I think Sam's right. You know, if I'm in someone's guard and I can throw the same elbow near enough to the same part of their head that they're deeming illegal to the top here, and I can throw that, well, why not standing? You know, it's a tough one. You know, and I've had a couple with Sam. We've had a couple of fighters ask us why can't they do the downward at 12 to 6 elbow, like to the legs, for example, to give someone a dead leg.
Yeah, we do that entire.
You know, yeah, but what I'm saying, MMA, if I'm sitting in someone's guard, I can't do it 12 to 6 to your thigh, you know, and it's a strange one, and maybe it will change, maybe it won't change, just to keep it. You know, at the moment, I think we're at a point where everything's level at the moment, and majority of the countries, majority of the promotions, certainly in the UK, are using the unified rules of MMA, whether that be amateur or whether that be pro. You know, and obviously that's down to the officials that are on the shows as well, making sure that's implemented, because obviously we haven't got a governing body here, so it's down to us or the other referees that are on there to make sure that stuff's implemented. So it is. At the moment, I think we're in a good place. I know what you're saying about ONE FC, because obviously I think they still
I'm a striker. I'm always going to think about that, because if I'm fighting a grappler and I'll bring him over, I don't want to get on top of you, bruv. That's the last thing I want to do. Like, if we're standing, I can kick you in the head. You're on the floor. Let me kick you in the head. I'm deep in the what if draw. I'm deep in the what if draw. I'm not trying to petition to change anything. You know, I just like chatting bollocks. Yeah. But I'm always going to be a striker. And if I was having an MMA fight with a grappler and I put him over, I don't want to get in his guard.
Nah, but see, back in the day, like obviously when Pride was around, and you used to have the Pride rules, the Vanderlei, likes of Vanderlei Silva, and doing the soccer kicks and the stumps to the head. As a fan at the time, it was like, fucking hell, what is this? I'm loving it, But times have moved on, and you got to also look at the fact that things are coming out, studies are coming out about CTE and head trauma and stuff like that, So it's as much as you can make it safe. That's the way you got to go. It hasn't made it any more boring. It hasn't made the sport any more boring because Pride went away many years ago and got brought out by the UFC, and the sport's still here. If anything, it's grown more and more.
I did really like about Pride, the 10-minute first round. I like that. I like that a lot. That was an interesting aspect to the game. Do you know what I mean? It changed things.
Depends if you had two guys in there who were gassed, and it doesn't matter how many warnings they were getting, the yellow cards and whatnot. I'm sure they were getting paid good enough to afford them 10% off their fight cards coming off. It depends, and also, but then again, you had I think the Hoist Gracie. Was it Hoist Gracie? He done the 1 hour match or whatever it was.
Shamrock.
No. Hoist was in Sakuraba, son. No, in Pride, I'm sure it was Hoist Gracie and Sakuraba. No time limit on it.
Yeah,
it went on like over an hour, man.
Yeah, that was long. That was long. But it's like I love how the game has changed, and I'm always willing to be like, oh yeah, so how could we? What's mix and match and mix up and not the rules, the 10-minute time limit. That was interesting. And thinking about it though, boys, have you ever been? Well, obviously you must have ref someone, and both of them have gassed hard.
Yes. Even to the point I can't remember the fighter's name, but I remember there being two light heavyweights. The first round there was a lot of exchanges, a lot of in the clinch work, and come second round, and absolutely gassed. And it's to the point where they're literally clinching up, leaning on each other. And as a referee, we want the fight to have some progression in. So you're like, come on guys, progress. You break them up, and then they go back into their same position again. And then as a referee, you can't. You're like, all right, well, you leave them there for a little bit longer, see if they do progress, then you break them up, and the whole fight just becomes that, And it is a little bit frustrating because you kind of think, man, just do a little bit more. But by the end of the day, I guess they realise they haven't trained hard enough.
Frustrating ones take down or they clinch up against the cage. Oh, we had it in Bulgaria actually. And that's like, why didn't you just like break it up like from the count? Like, man, every time I break it up, I broke it up about 2-3 times. I was like, they kept going back in the cage and holding it. So I did it. And if you want to play against, then go for it. There was no progression standing anywhere else. It was the only place that seemed like there was going to have some sort of progression. But I mean, from a crowd perspective, they're the exciting fights, right? The ones that gas out, and you just know that someone's going to swing and someone's likely about to go out.
I always tell people who've never done it, I'm like, there is depths of exhaustion you never knew existed.
Well, you got exactly, especially like from like walking into the cage or the ring, whatever it may be. Your adrenaline dump is next level. Is absolutely. I mean, I remember when I fought, and you think, your legs are shaking. You're like, what the fuck are my legs are shaking? I haven't even started yet. So you get that aspect of it. Everything, depending where you fight. I mean, Sam, I'm sure you agree with me. There's been plenty of times where we referee with no hair on it. The lights that are in that cage or above the ring, it is. I mean, being a referee running around in the cage is one thing, but being a fighter, fighting under those lights, sweating, having someone else on top of you as well, or whatever, it is hot, man. And that's the bit. And that's learning. Yeah, but then that's learning experience as well, because then you know how, okay, you know what, during, on the day of the fight, I'll make sure I get enough water in me, get enough fluids in me, so when I'm inside the ring or the cage, I've got enough water in me not to be dehydrated or feel dehydrated or not going into the fight dehydrated, and that makes a difference,
Oh yes, I've learned that one the hard way. So that's the thing. You always learn it the hard way, didn't you? No matter what people tell you, do this, do that, you learn it the hard way.
Yep, but you do. But then people laugh at me and Sam, especially like shows like LFC or Contenders or other local shows that we do, or regional shows as you would call them. We say to them, look, guys, no matter what happens after your fights, win or lose, trust me, go and have a couple of pints of water before you pick up that pint of beer and a double vodka and Coke or whatever it is you like to drink. Just get a couple of waters down here, and it is, honestly, it's like you're speaking from the stuff that we've seen, amount of times I've seen people straight from a fight, a friend of theirs handing them a couple of pints of beers. Yes, it might taste good, but trust me, get the waters in you. You'll feel better for it,
Get the water in you, yeah, man. But they're gonna just be like, oh, what did I do that for? But that's what happened. That's what happened. It's a beautiful sport. I love it that I'm even involved in it in just a little bit. I mean, playing ninja. Yeah, man, serious. I said I wanted to be a ninja when I was a little kid, and now I own a ninja school, so I'm very happy with that. And I get to hang around with you two ninjas. Oh, right, it's cool. But thinking about that, then there's the flip side. Maddest injury.
Say that again.
Maddest injury.
Oh, mate. Go on, Sam. You give your one first.
Yeah.
Sam, what you got for us, baby?
What I've seen live.
Yeah.
Was it the Wayne Brown Khalid Ishmael one, Dan? Or was it someone else? Might be Sledge, actually. Who's in the
Sledge? I've heard Sledge.
Oh, yeah, a leg breaker. Both legs snapped.
Like bent and shit.
Like snapped, like the leg was dangling. I wasn't refereeing now. I was there though, cage side, and I watched that.
Yeah.
And you don't you for the fighters that they've gone through that and they've come out of an injury like that. And yeah, I'll probably say I've had a broken arm at MTK not too, a couple years ago. One of the French fighters against Dan Vinny. He ended up breaking his arm because he didn't tap quick enough. And I'll probably say Dan's one. Do you remember the on Celtic Gladiators? Spanish fighter with a cut.
What the?
Against
with the cut against Mishek.
Against Mishek.
Yeah, he threw for a nasty, I think it was an elbow or a hook, whatever it was, cut him open literally from top of his head to there, and it's the worst cut I've seen personally inside the cage whilst refereeing at that time. But not longer, even in your show that you fought at LFC, this is why I say people go give credit to fighters as well, man. The risks that you guys take and you girls take is the guy, I think Sam was refereeing, I think from Babyface's gym, from Semtex versus, I can't remember the other gym, and he picked him up. He was losing the fight. He went for the takedown, and the guy come to post down on his arm, and then the elbow just popped out, man. And I'm like, fuck. And there was one that it was on Bellator, Tom Mearns, wasn't it? Against Ekandeo.
Ekandeo, yeah.
Tom Mearns was against Ekandeo. I mean, again, same thing. He got taken down, he postured, and his arm just popped totally different way, out of the socket. So,
when the amateur fighter posted out and his arm broke, and then his corner was, why did you stop it?
Why did you stop it? Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
That's the thing. There's some Amidi boys who treat this like a life or death situation. I'm like, boys, it's Amidi, chill out.
Oh, mate, the fight was all right. The cornerman actually ended up messaging me a couple of days later. It's like, I don't see why didn't make it a no contest. Like, man, why did he stop it in the first place? Why was it not they made a no contest if he's dislocated his arm?
See, this is the thing. This is the thing, Chris. Like me and Sam have this discussion. Sorry, Sam. Me and Sam have this discussion all the time. It's not so much the fighters educating themselves. It's also the coaches and the cornermen need to be educated on the rules and rule sets. And like Sam said, the amount of times that we've had not the fighters. The fighters have been great. They've been like, oh, thanks, ref, thanks for stopping. And you got a cornerman coming, oh, ref, why did you stop that? Blah, blah, blah. And, I'm like, dude, he tapped, or, he was going unconscious, or like Sam said, his arm just popped out. And And the fighters like, no, that should have been. It's a hey, he'd be a referee, eh?
Yeah.
Well, like, it's not that I'm like, well, I would like to do some commentary. I'd love to do some commentary just because I'm there. I love being involved in the fight game. I love it. I'd like to ref, but I don't trust myself. I don't. In straight up.
Why do you say that?
I'm a
Why do you
fan.
say
I'll
that?
start watching. I'm a fan. I am. Straight up. I'm a fan.
You saying about you. Look, mate. Appreciate the honesty, and it's good to have people like that. But we've had even down to the basic. And Sam, you know, I'm not going to name names, but we had a couple of events that we've been on, and timekeepers, for example. And the most important thing is one of the important things is the timekeeper. You know, if the round goes over, it's invalid. You know, you don't want to ring the bell too early. You don't want to have more than a 1 minute break in between. The amount of times we've seen, you know, we've heard the 10-second clapper go, and you know, you see as a ref, you have the 10-second countdown in your own head. You're like 10, 9, so you can position yourself.
Yeah.
And the amount of times, you know, it's gone past the 10 seconds, and I kind of like glance at Sam at the cage door, and he's like going, "Yeah, what the fuck's going on here? Like the timer should have gone by now." And you're looking at the timekeeper, and they're like this, just like staring ahead, like watching the fight. And you're like, dude, you got a job to do as well.
Yeah.
So
I've had that. I've had that with one of my fighters. Where was that? Dave show. One of Dave's shows that happened. Sam Howell. He had it for a title shot. Invalid title
I don't do that show.
I won't blame it. You ain't that. You had to blame. But yeah, man. And that's why I couldn't do anything important in the fight game apart from fight and corner my fighter. I'd really
that's
like
important enough, though, man. That's important. Being a coach and corner, that's important enough. If anything, that's
corner
in
is,
some ways.
corner is harder than fighting. Yeah, you know me, boys. I've always been willing to have a go. Yeah, and see when I'm in the corner for someone else, and like their feet are like about there somewhere, and they look back at you, and you give them the old, and they look away. I'm like, because I'm thinking, if I tell you to zig when you should zag, you might get sent into the spirit realm.
Yeah, but then that's down to you and your fighter to have that bond and have that trust. Yes or no?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a question to you because it was put to me a couple of weeks ago. As a cornerman, would you'd throw in the towel if your fighter was in trouble? Would you call the fight?
Yeah.
Have you? Should I say?
No, I haven't. Luckily enough, but I've always.
Good job, Dan. That's why.
I've always told my students that I'll always put you in a fight that you can lose. I mean, like, I thought if you know, you get options when you open a gym, and it's like, shall I kind of go this way to get like lads in there and get a name, or shall I do it the way you want to do it and try and be as true as possible? And I always ask for monsters fighting. That's what I always shout out to Pagey. But he asked me what I wanted. I said I want monsters, and he got me monsters. So shout out to Pagey. But I always said to my fighters, I'll put you in a fight that you can lose. You can lose this. you can win it, but you can lose. This is no walk in the park, and I will definitely throw the towel in. I'm like, I ain't got any boys who have made the switch over. I've got boys who are heading in the direction of going pro, but I haven't got any that are pro yet. You know what I mean, so if I should amateur, I am more ready to throw in the towel because it's Amidi. It don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? It don't mean nothing. Like, I've essentially thrown the towel in for a couple of people in little inter clubs and that, where they've been big quarter shot, and they're gonna steam straight back in. Where, you know, they're Ammy, they're not thinking. So I'm like, to the ref, just give the ref the little. Man, I don't know if my mum sees it, but like at that, like until you go pro, and even then, like this is your vehicle. This is the one vehicle you get. So, like, unless we're talking truly life-changing money, like, and even then, to get to that kind of point, we would have spent a long time.
Is it worth risking your health even for that money? that extent,
I'm not a real big like. It's not that I'm a big fan of money, but I used to do other jobs that paid better than a personal trainer. And I got into becoming a personal trainer just because I liked being in the gym and I didn't like being dirty. And I wanted to fight all the time. So on one hand, it wasn't about money. And like, how I read this somewhere. We take ourselves carefully through life to arrive safely at death. So I've got to take some risks, you know what I mean? But they've got to be calculated. They've got to be calculated. So, like, I'm not particularly a go out on my shield kind of person. I'd rather that if I am completely outclassed and, you know, it's like red light, you know, I'm going the spirit realm. I'm getting sent to the Dagobah system and my corner knows that I ain't got a chance in doing it. I'd rather fight another day.
Yeah, exactly. Go back and sharpen up the tools.
Yeah, I've got friends, and you've met both of them. You've met who I'm going to say, and like he ain't the same. He weren't how he used to. I went to school with him. Yeah, I went to school with my man. Yeah, I don't want to cuss him out, but he's a different dude. Yeah, and that's because you've taken a lot of shots to the head. Like they're like,
and the thing is, Chris, is like, you know, like Sam said, you know, is it even if you do get paid well, even if like the top guys, you know, Bellator, UFC, ONE FC, taking those, you know, at the end of the day, you're calling them and you put trust in them, and you have every fighter. Look, man, no fighter wants their corner to throw the towel, and no fighter wants the referee to stop the fight. That's the bottom line. You know, we've had it before where Sam had one where he stepped in and stopped the fight, and the fight is black. At the end of the day, we'll take the blame. Fuck it. If that makes you happy. And we know we've done a good job as a referee to keep you safe. Yeah. If you want to blame the referee, if you want to, you know, blame us, and go and tell your mum and dad, the referee stopped the fight,
it's your job.
That, whatever.
It's your job to get everyone home.
Let that be it.
Yeah, it's your job to get everyone home, not the hospital. You know what I mean? And that's what I said to my lad who had to stop in the interclub. I was like, look, mate, I'd rather have this conversation here than in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because here you won't even have the conversation.
Sure, and like what I say, especially to the amateur guys, is that, look, man, yes, listen, it's a big deal to you as a fighter, but amateur really, it's not a be on and end all, you know, and you get to fight, you know, go back to the gym on Monday, rather than getting back to the gym in 2 months' time, you know what I mean? And you get to train and maybe have another fight in a couple of weeks, whatever it might be, you know.
That goes like into how I run my gym stand-up sparring, or actually pretty much all the sparring, including the MMA. Yeah. Love taps, you know, like when you watch Sancho or anyone like that sparring, I'm like, that's how I'm sparring in my gym. I was like, if I hit you hard and hurt you, you ain't training with me tomorrow because your leg's messed up. Yeah. So that affects me. That affects me. I train. So like I always teach like my lot, when you're sparring, like I've got it written on the wall, setups, misdirection, timing. If I've got any of them, I don't need speed or power. I don't need it. You know what I mean? Like you just don't need it. I always used, because I started boxing first when I was a kid, and like my mum wouldn't let me compete and all that, thank God, but she let me train. But the thing is about that, it was always just go. And yeah, you don't learn. You don't like pick up the little nuances of what to do. When if you play a game almost, and you do it constantly, you can do it the next day as well. If you spar light and you think about it and all that. But people always like try and spar hard, and it's no good. And that's the other reason why you get that. Was it CTE?
Yeah.
That's just the thing, bruv. Oh, Dan, you froze up, bruv. Or is he deep in thought? I can't tell. Oh, he's back. Look like you froze up and you was deep in for a moment.
No. I was waiting for it to clear up. I thought Sam was messing around.
Yeah. What gyms do you boys train at?
What gym? So we train at
train together or
our BJJ Wave Academy, affiliated by the Fight Sport banner, Fight Sport London. Yeah, been training our BJJ there for a good few years now. Them guys are awesome. They're really welcoming guys. But yeah, we've I wouldn't say I train it as much as us.
I can see how you were just waiting
to build it and tell you guys, it's probably more part-time training. And these guys, apologies, I haven't jumped on any of the Zoom sessions that they've been running. I've been a bit lazy with it lately after, well, probably about a year, actually. but
it's so good.
We train when we're away. We train with some awesome people as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I genuinely love what you do. Like I said, if I could do it, I'll do it in a heartbeat. 100%, just to be involved. But nah, I would be shit because I would start watching fights. 100%. Like I would do well for like the first 2 fights. And then like I don't know, like one of you two is with me, and you go and get like coffee or something, and you come back, and one round's gone on for 10 minutes, and it's just,
But that's it, right, Chris? It's not just the focus within that one fight; it's the focus from the start of the night to the end of the night. We turn up 2 hours before an event starts. One, to check the venue, check the arena, check the cage. Ensure that we've talked to all the staff, the official, make sure we understand the running and how everything's going. Check that the medical's all been done okay. That people don't see that along with the travel. And then you've got we do the rules briefing, trying to settle in the fighters, make sure everyone's okay, ready to go. And then you've got the night, it kicks off, and it's non-stop, right? We get like, if we're lucky, if there's not that many fights or the fights don't overrun, we should hopefully get a 15-minute break at some point.
Mm.
Because I know, we might do 2 in, 2 out, partner. Actually, even when we're out, we're still observing what's going on in and around it.
You're at work. You're at work, so you're just going to be in your work head, didn't you?
Dan wants to know, whoever the official wants to know that they can fully focus on what's going on in the cage, knowing someone on the outside is sorting shit out, making sure the coaches are sat down, making sure, nothing's kicking off outside, that everyone's obeying the outside as well as inside the cage, right? So, it is a full-on job. Same thing for judges, timekeepers, commissioners, all kind of officials throughout the night. It's a lot to be able to focus fully. And I know we tell fighters you're not allowed energy drinks. It doesn't mean we don't have energy drinks because
I see people just drinking and walking about, it's like whatever. Like I always, because I do recognise it's a fucking high stress environment. Like let alone fighting, to be there and working. That's why I'm like, I couldn't do that because my attention would get pulled in the wrong directions.
See, but then that's why I'm sometimes I'm thankful enough with the guys I work with and like the Sam, there's been times where I'm getting stressed out. I'm like, fucking, this isn't in place. This hasn't been done, and he's like, damn, just calm down, man, relax, we'll get it. No, fucking, we've got to sort this out. It's like, dude, calm down. I've got it. I've done it. I've sorted whatever it may be, So, like we're lucky with the other people we work with as well. We kind of all got that same mentality, and we know what's expected of us. And the promotions that we work with, they know what's expected of us, and they know what we expect from them. So, good to have Sam to ground me a little bit.
No, man. I'm always happy when I see you two. I'm always happy when I see you two because I know like you're right. There is a trust I've built in you. Obviously, I trust all the other officials and that, but on the real, I don't know you, bro. I mean, if I don't know you,
we try to make other officials do it that we work with as well. We try to make fighters feel welcoming. We know that they're going through an intense stress moment, that they're about to step in the cage, adrenaline's about to be jacked. We need to ensure that they're calm and composed, like the coaches as well. We like to talk to people, when we're there, to ensure that we are friendly, we are approachable. That's what we're there for. We're there to be
it's a fun day out, a fight day. That's the way I treat it. I genuinely do, especially as a coach. Apart from the actual getting them warm and time to fight, the rest of it is just a fun day out. We're going somewhere different. Yeah, we're gonna have a little cruise about.
That's exactly. That's exactly. New day out. We got to eat something different. That's how he treats it.
Yeah, and the thing is though, boys, Do you know when you talk to old friends who, I don't know, school friends or whatever, and they've got some proper standard job, and and you tell them what you do, and they're like, what? And you're like, yeah, just go out, days out, watch tear-ups, mate, like tear-ups. And yeah, just, you know, I love it. And for me, to tell people that I own an MMA gym, I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, bit weird. A bit weird. Most of my friends are like electricians and stuff and sell cars.
Dream though, right, Chris?
Huh?
You're living your dream though, right?
Oh, mate, I cannot believe that I am doing this. I genuinely, like how if I woke up right now, yeah, and I'm in a hospital bed and like you're the doctors or something, and you're like, yeah, Chris, you've been in a car accident, you've been in a coma for 5 years, and you work in Asda's, I'd be like, I knew it.
Let's hope that never happens, Chris. All right?
Yeah, man. Let's hope. Like, I genuinely like I said to you earlier, I was looking forward to chatting to you, so because
I appreciate it. Appreciate having us on, man.
Other people in the ref game how to be. Yeah, and hopefully, like some people in your circles, who from extended circles, will sit and be like, right, who are these boys? And so I really like the way you two hold yourselves when you're out there doing your job. As I've said to you before, I've always come over to you and been like, boys, on smash as always. Do you know what I mean? I've never ever been unhappy with anything you boys have ever done, man, mate. And it's cool to have a little chat with you, even in these funky times. You know what I mean?
Well, again, appreciate that, man, and obviously the credit go to also to the people we work with, not just Sam, but the other people we work with, and obviously they look up to. We try to imitate how they the standard they hold themselves to. So yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, man. You're a firm, and like, you still like, right? We can't talk about it because only my gym's allowed to know about it. The secret submission escape. You remember?
What one?
We'll have to talk about it later. I'll send you a voice message to remind you. And I'm very happy.
I think I know.
You remember? I'll say one thing.
Hold on, wait. Is it the discussion you had about if you lift the fighter up and he kicks you to the head? That one?
That's the what you spoke with Danny Beaver.
Yeah. Right. This came
got put in his place. An MMA coach got put in his place by obviously Chris here. So
telling me you couldn't do it. Yeah, this is the story, boys. Right, I was gonna I'll wrap it up with this story, boys. My friend, his name's Jim. I met him in Australia. He's from Australia, and I met him in Thailand. Really cool fighter. He's had a fight with Sanchai. Had a really good one with him. Anyway, he come over here and was training at my gym, like sleeping on my sofa and that. And he was asking about the escape from that submission. And I was telling him, oh, well, you can do this, you can do that. And then we said about what you could do. And Danny Beaver I was like, is that legal? So I asked Danny, and he was like, you can't do that. So he went to you two, and I know it went a little bit higher and that, and it comes back to me, and I'm like, yeah, it works. That's my one thing for my gym only. I'll have to tell you about it, like, we'll talk about it more, so that's for the listeners, that. If you train at my gym, you get one more submission escape. But boys, no.
Legal submission.
It's legal. Yeah, that's the thing. So people know it's legal, perfectly legal. And Sam, if you don't know, I'll fill you in later. Yeah, it's good though, wouldn't it, Dan?
It was good. I know Sam looked into it, but yeah, it was good.
Seriously,
you've frozen up again.
I thought of this one, but yeah, gents, I'll let you go, and I love and adore you. And sooner or later, hopefully, the world is going to be kind of back to normal, which I hope.
Sure it will be, man.
It's been a pleasure. We always have a great laugh on the scene, so hopefully, we'll see you around on the scene very shortly. Yeah, I think we'll just pop down to the gym, have a little roll and a burger, mate.
100% welcome to come and beat me up. We can go and eat burgers afterwards. We can laugh, we can talk, we can train, yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I want one of them black cards, yeah?
Yeah, I've got you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll get him to do you one time for special burger. Serious, boys, these burgers, boom, next level. Yeah, next level. But I've got to give a thank out to my sponsor, LT. You see that? I got shout out to my little gym. I cannot believe.
Hold on, that looks like a chicken shines.
You see this? Do you want to look? See that logo? I threw that knee in a dusty gym about 15 years ago. And when I was looking for a logo, like it was like I was thinking, what can we use? Got a picture of me. I can't believe it. I'm on a t-shirt. It's so cool. But no, gents, I love you. I can chat to you all day. I'll let you go, and sooner or later we'll have a punch up, a choke up, and a burger up.
Sounds perfect, my man.
Good man.
Appreciate that, Chris.
Brilliant. Gents, I love and adore you. Peace.
Take care.
Peace out. Take care.
Right, that was shit.